Today, on You're Buying a Home with Silas Lindenstein, we are asking the question, are you ready to buy a home?
Silas gets real, buy and sell homes with a thrill. Out Seattle, baby, you know what's the deal. And he keep it real.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to You're Buying a Home with Silas Lindenstein. I am your host, Silas Lindenstein. Welcome to episode 2. Which is also feels like this is where it's getting going. We are asking the question, are you ready to buy a home? I'm Silas Lindenstein, real estate agent in the Seattle, Washington area, but don't let that scare you away if you're not from the area, because buying a home is buying a home. I am here to educate and empower home buyers all over the nation. And this is the process to do it. And I got you covered. Yeah, there'll be little different things in your local real estate agent will cover those things, but I'm going to cover the basics that happen to nearly all homes. And this part 2 is really talking to you about mindset. I think the biggest shift to becoming a homeowner is mindset from being a home renter. Because the truth of it is, you're already paying a mortgage. You're just paying someone else's mortgage, right? You're paying that landlord's mortgage on the house. So I always think, why not just pay your own? I think if you're asking the question, am I ready? That in itself is kind of a sign that you are, because you're ready to take control of your life. You're ready to, mature. I don't know. It's not immature to rent. Renting is a lifestyle. I don't even say home buying is for everybody. I think if you have a very transient lifestyle, if you move a lot, it might not be the best financial decision. There's definitely ways to make it. You can buy and rent it out while you're gone or something. And sometimes just the lifestyle of, like, you don't want to have to fix your own or be responsible to call the person to come fix that. I get that. I was even there at times that I didn't want that, but ultimately I knew it was the best thing for me and the best thing for my family to, and it is the easiest way to step up in financial classes in our society. If you're in the lower economic rung of our society, the easiest way to get into that middle class is through the purchase of real estate. And so if you want to go up and have more wealth, the people who own homes tend to. Now, why? And there's a lot of more discussion about that, right? But I think it is the first step. And that's why I think most people should do it. But if you can start thinking, you know what, I don't want to be a renter, I want to be a homeowner, that is the first big step. People give themselves excuses a lot on, well, but I can't, am I ready? I don't have enough money to be a homeowner. Don't you need 20% to put down on a home? Now, that's a thing a long time ago people did. And hopefully that misconception's not even there anymore. Maybe that's gone the way, that enough education's out there. It's like, no, you don't need 20%. 20% is this mark that you don't need to pay certain insurance called a mortgage insurance. So, but which can add on to the cost of the home. So it's definitely cheaper if you have 20% down. But it's cheaper. The more you have down to put on a house, the cheaper your mortgage payment's going to be. That's just how car loans work. It's how all loans work. The more you can put down in the beginning, the less you're going to pay. So if you have 20%, yeah, that's great. That would be wonderful. But there are options for lower down payment. You can go all the way down to, I've even heard of 3% conventional loans. There's 3% conventional loans. There are 3.5% is the more common FHA loan. That's just a federally backed loan, and there's some other things on it. But I think you might be surprised on how low sometimes your interest or your monthly payment can be with a mortgage. I had a couple that I put them into a condo after doing the math and meeting with a mortgage person. We learned that they would only be paying $100 more a month to own than they were renting. So I always tell people, especially if you are renting a condo or an apartment, well, you should look at buying, because buying might be really close to the same price, and then you're building equity, and then eventually you're going to move into a home. Or clients who just decided, you know what, it wasn't for them. They needed they needed another room because of they had another baby, and so they're like, we want to sell this. We're going to rent for a while until it's time for us to buy. But they still left and cleared almost $100,000 in equity, right? So it was a smart decision for them in the end to buy the house. They were able to walk away with money that they wouldn't have had. And there's so many programs out there that want to qualify you. Some people will say, "Oh, I have too much debt. I don't like, I have $80,000 in student loans." Lenders don't care how much you owe overall. They care about how much your monthly payment is. And that's a big misconception people have. They think they have way too much debt. I thought when I first went to buy a home back in 2003, 2005, something like that, I thought when I went into a meeting that we were 5 years from being able to buy. Turned out we were 6 months away, which was a shock to suddenly go, wait, we can buy a house? That's crazy. And even now, like, I see people get their approved mortgages and they're like, whoa, I never thought I'd be approved for this much. Now their max might be higher than they want to spend every month, but it shows that they're in a better place than they thought. And most people are. Now, you know if you aren't, right? If you've been through a bankruptcy recently or a foreclosure or um, some really bad credit stuff, that might take you a little bit longer, but that's the whole job of lenders, is to help get you into a position that you can buy. At least a good lender. A good lender is always looking forward. Now, something I want you to understand is that aside from a down payment, there's a thing called closing costs that you have to have ready. Now, you might be able to get the seller to pay for some. Depends on the market. But usually there's some, aside from the 3% down you need, there's an additional thing called closing costs. So that can be anywhere between 3 to 8,000, depending on the price of the home. That's additional money you'll need to bring in aside from that percentage. So you want to have extra. Don't skate in on the razor minimum. That's what I tell people. But your lender should fill you in on those. So make sure when you talk to a lender to say, okay, this is what I got for a down payment. I need to use that toward my closing costs as well. So what can I use? So kind of like if you've saved up, say $50,000, tell them this is what I have, and tell them you can put that for your down payment and closing costs, and make sure they break out what their closing costs are. Also, there's down payment assistance programs out there. A couple that I got into a condo, they actually didn't put any money down. None. They didn't have to. There are programs out there that will help you with your down payment. Are there grants? Sometimes. Sometimes they have to do through certain banks, but they work it into their interest rate. What they'll do is they can end up putting the down payment as this like second loan, this loan at the end of, it's like a second mortgage at the end of the loan. Sometimes the interest rate's a little bit higher for using a program like that, but it does get you into a house earlier. And the whole thing you're trying to do is beat appreciation. You want to be able to buy a home now, so that, if you waited to save, homes didn't appreciate too high in the beginning. I knew a lot of people when I started. I know a lot of people who wanted to buy, 7 years ago. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait a year and save money. They could never save enough money to match the cost that was going up for them to buy. So it's better to get in as soon as you can so that you can ride the wave of it going up. Okay. And then there's things like you can save money. You can use money from your 401k to, like, for first time home buyers. There's a certain amount that you're allowed, and so you have to check with your tax professional about that. But there is an amount that you can take from your 401k to put down on your house. Now, Some people are like, no, I'm not taking money out of my retirement from that. But think of it this way. Some people are not even putting money into their 401k, right? You should, but not everybody is. Some people live in places that will match, right? Up to 3% or something of how much you put in. So of your 3% of your salary or whatever. So you put in $1,000. Your boss puts in $1,000. Keep that going, right? You put in 10,000, maybe they put in 10,000. I don't know how high they'll go, right? So it depends on your job and the match program. So let's say you pull that out then. So you pulled out $20,000. You only had 10 to begin with. The other 10 is a gift from your boss. Your boss is helping you buy a house. So check that out. Other ways of getting money, gifts. You'd be surprised how many people will have family members that will decide to gift you money once they find out you're actually buying a house and not just trying to buy a new pinball machine. They're out there. And I even know people who've told me my parents are not going to give me any money for buying a house. But then when they found the parents found out they were seriously looking at homes and were going to buy one without them, then they ended up ponying up some money to help because they knew how difficult it was. So, and I'm sure not everyone's like that. Some people listening, I'm sure you're thinking, nope, not my family. They're not going to help me. I'm sorry. But you'd be surprised of the people out there who will try to help you out once they know you want to do something and improve your life, like doing this. I mean, you can also take second jobs. Like you can go Uber or Grubhub, do delivery drive. Just get some referee for soccer. That's what I always tell people to do. Get some extra money just to help toward the closing cost or down payments. They may, unless you've done it for 2 years, you can't count it towards your monthly income. But I just try to think of different ways. How do we get more money that we can put down just in that very beginning? And a second job is a great way to do that if you have time. So in short, I just want to say that I think the process of deciding if you are ready, look at your finances and then talk to a lender, because I think you kind of are. If you're, again, as I said in the beginning, if you are asking the question, am I ready? I think that's the first sign that you might be. And so the next thing you need to do before you do anything else, you want to talk to a lender before anyone else, maybe. Particularly if you have a real estate agent already, they may have a lender for you. So in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about the pre-approval process and really who to go look for when it's time to buy a home. Who should you talk to? So until next time, thank you for listening, and thank you for buying a home with Silas Lindenstein.
Silas gets real, buy and sell homes with a thrill. Out Seattle, baby, you know what's the deal. And he keep it real, showing you the way till it's better known. I help you buy your forever. He a real estate Jedi. Yeah, he got you. Silas Lindenstein got your back, let him spot you. Help you sell your home while you do what you love. So come in, don't forget to wipe your feet on the rug. Silas gets real, buy and sell homes with a thrill. Out Seattle, baby, you know what's the deal. And he keep it real, help you sell your home, show you everything as you move on to better things. He a real estate Jedi, yeah, he be that. Silas Lindenstein got your back, just believe that. Help you buy the home that you want, so come on, have a seat and let's find your dream home, let's get it going. Yeah.